All right, everybody, welcome back to the Lions Pit podcast. I am your host, Nick Gomez. With me today is my good friend and coach at KORREKT Fitness, Tim Kurz. How are you today, bud?
I'm great.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course, man. Happy to have you on. We've chatted about it a little while back, so glad we could finally get it going and get it cracking.
Yeah, for sure. You got a great space.
What's that?
You got a great space here.
Dude, the studio is phenomenal. Here at Soundshed Studio, Paul and Matt just kill it. Like, they do a really good job with everything here. Really first class, top notch. I could not be more grateful to be in this space for sure. Yeah. How long have you been at KORREKT, formerly Onnit?
So I was a member first before I was a coach. I remember I first went to when it was Onnit probably in 2018. Mm-hmm. I think I went to an event there, but then I first started actually going to classes there probably like the beginning of 2019. And then, so I was doing small group classes pre-COVID, jumping into like barbell classes. And then, started coaching at the end of 2020. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, because I was going to say, I feel like I remember you a little bit on the member side and then like coaching soon after, like when I started.
Yes, I remember going to a couple of your classes.
Yeah, it was a good time. What got you, what were you doing before? What got you into fitness? Because you're very much, and we'll get more into this as we go, but you're very much into like mobility and movement. Mm-hmm. So I've always been kind of curious, like, what's your background? Like, what got you into that?
I've always been athletic. And played some sports in high school and college. But for a while, I was not doing fitness. I started really coaching in 2020. Before that, I was living and working in DC. Very different life, doing DC things. I got my master's at American University in Spanish, Latin American Studies.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So that was, I think I graduated in 2012 and then was working in a lot of nonprofits and doing a lot of work in Latin America, social justice, human rights. In DC, I was just like, that was like what I was all about for a long time. And then, I was more or less, working out, but, just to work out.
Yeah.
All that other stuff was more important to me, the DC stuff. And then I did CrossFit for a little while after like doing a lot of just normal other HIIT stuff and weightlifting stuff and like the gym. And I went like all in for CrossFit, did all the CrossFit stuff, got a shoulder injury, just like most CrossFit people do.
Yeah, shocker.
Yeah, I guess I would just gradually like kind of stepping into health and wellness, like very gradually, and then realized how important it was for me for like self-discovery, learning about my body, which has been like a lifelong thing for me. And then after injuries and not being able to have that was like important because it was even more of a learning experience, like learning how important it was for me. So yeah, long story short, like I gradually got into it and went through a lot of life changes, moved to Austin after divorce, and I had a lot of changes, so very different life back in DC.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. So when I got to Austin, I had never been to Texas, so I knew about Onnit though, and did their education, did a lot of the certs.
Oh yeah, how many did you do?
Yeah. I first did the steel mace. Like that's what like I was just like so just like curious about steel mace, and I don't think I had just. I'd listened to podcasts, the human optimization podcast, in like when I was in DC, and like seeing all the stuff, everything on social media from from afar, and like I did the steel mace. And then I think I did like 3 all in 2019.
Oh, wow.
I did steel mace, then I did the fundamentals, then I did the durability.
Nice.
And then kettlebell.
Oh, so you did 4.
Yep.
Nice. Yeah, I've done 2. Started out when I was at Performance Ranch because we were co-owned by Cowboy Cerrone. So I got to come out and do the Onnit certs. And yeah, I did foundations and durability.
Yep.
The durability probably to this day is still like one of my favorite certs. Yep. Like any company, any certification, like any accreditation, like the durability one was probably my favorite.
Yeah. Did you?
That was a lot. It was like 16 hours in the weekend. It was like 2 8-hour days.
Did you do it with other coaches that are at the
That's
gym
a great
now?
question. I did foundations with a couple other coaches. I'm trying to think if there's anybody. I mean, there was a coach from Performance Ranch that was with me, but it was led by John and Shane, John Wolf and Shane Hines. But I can't think if there were any other people that I kept in touch with. Foundations though is different. Like there's probably like 3 or 4 people that I kind of kept in touch with in that course that have gone on to be coaches. One, my buddy Gavin up in Dallas. He was working more like the traditional like S&C route. He was working for Exos for a little while, and then I forget where he's at now at a different like athletic training facility. And then I have a buddy Mark who he's big in animal flow. You might have come across him a couple times. I know he's done some stuff with Francesca. He's down in San Antonio.
Oh, yeah.
Mark Gill, I think his last name Gil Gill.
Okay. Does he have a gym?
He was working at a gym called Intentional Patterns down there. And I think they all kind of went their separate ways. But he'll keep in touch. Like him and I stay in touch over Instagram.
Okay.
And then you remember Rain?
Oh, yeah.
Rain was in that foundation cert.
No way.
And I totally forgot. Like, because when I went and did the foundation cert, like I talked to a couple of Onnit people. Like there was a girl at the front desk named Kaylin that I talked to.
Yep.
And then I talked to Eric Leha and John Wolf, but like I didn't really talk to anybody else that was like in the class. Sam Pogue helped run that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then
I remember.
And I went back randomly because my buddy Mark sent me a picture from like the foundations class. He's like, hey, look, this is like the class. And I was kind of like looking through it, and I feel like there was one other coach in there. But yeah, I was like, oh shit, like there's Rain. I was like, I didn't even realize that like Rain was in that class.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Like a yearbook picture, like come back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like a yearbook picture. And then Chris Marinon really like helped get all that together. So it was cool to kind of come back around when I started working on it and like become friends with Chris. We're actually in the same fantasy football league now.
Yep.
But yeah, Chris is good. I mean, it was just a great experience. I really want to get John and Shane on here too at some point. I've talked to both of them about doing it. So yeah, they're both like such fountains of knowledge. But you know, they're such different personalities. Like they are very much like yin and yang. Like John Wolf is like straight fire, and Shane Hines is like a flowing river. Like he's just so like calm and like peaceful. And John Wolf is like, hey, let's fucking go kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure.
But they complement each other so well, and they taught together so well when they would do certifications. So they were really a dynamic duo. 2 people that like I really admire and have been mentors because they were very much involved when I first started.
Yeah, they even like look. They look, just looking at them, you can tell like, you know, John, like, you know, he's just like this big dude. Like, he can overhead press, like, I don't know, like the zombie kettlebell just like once. And then like Shane's like doing back bends and all these crazy things.
Yeah.
They just like complement each other.
Yeah. And like you said, they actually do look like that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, John looks like a fire individual and Shane looks like a very like mellow, easygoing guy. And again, their personalities, like I said, complement each other very, very well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So when did you like, because I know you're like big into like rock climbing, and have you always done that, or is that like been more of like a recent thing since coming out to Austin?
So actually, I mean, I coached at KORREKT,
Okay.
and it was fitness. So I actually didn't do very much rock climbing, but
no
I
shit.
mean, I probably rock climbed like maybe once or twice while I was there. But the how I got in there was Leo Savage. He used to coach just steel mace, just like a steel mace flow class in what was Crux, in like the a warehouse like next to it. And I went to that. I think it was like Tuesday or Thursday or something. No AC in the warehouse, like super sweaty. Yeah, it was awesome. And then the gym manager there He's a great guy. I met him, and like they were going to move the gym from that warehouse to another place right on Congress. And they were going through a transition. I was like, hey, I have my Steel Mace certification and these other certifications. Like, if you're ever looking for new coaches, I'd love to talk with you. So he was the one who gave me like my first just opportunity to coach.
Very nice.
But it's funny. I mean, like as a kid, I remember like climbing trees was always like that's like when I remember of like things that I used to love as a kid, like climbing trees was like, that was it.
Yeah. I feel like the same because like I always tell a funny story. I didn't really like grow up playing baseball. I ended up playing baseball from like 8 years old to all the way through college. I still play. But I remember I was in second grade in this little tiny town, Moriarty, New Mexico. And like everyone in my second grade class, like talking about baseball. And I was so like curious. And I just like any little kid, I wanted to be a part of it. And they had like mid-season tryouts. And I remember my mom like came out to the backyard to ask me if I wanted to try out for baseball. And like, I always, like when I tell a story, I'm always like, I'm pretty sure I was in a tree, like climbing a tree when she asked me. But yeah, man, I have a lot of like I've experience doing that.
My mom tells this story. We had moved into a new house. I think it was probably like 5 or 6. The house was 2 stories and like there were trees around it. And she was in the second floor, like doing something. And she looks out the window and just sees me in a tree right there, and like gets totally freaked out. But yeah, I remember love climbing trees, and Crux is opening a new south location. So I'm gonna try to do some more climbing.
Nice.
Yeah, I have liked it when I've done it. But and it does require like a lot more than like somebody who has not rock climbed would think.
Mm-hmm.
Like hips and shoulders, and it's full body.
For sure. Yeah, that's a lesson I had to learn. So in Albuquerque, I used to work at the North Face, and we didn't get like a free membership at the rock climbing gym, but we got like a significantly discounted membership to where the point like it really made it worth it. Yeah. It was like one of the nicest, like they used to hold competitions. Like it was one of the nicest rock climbing gyms in the Southwest. And it was called Stone Age. And at this time, dude, I was so overweight. I was like 210, 220. And I started like going rock climbing, and I was like, holy cow, like this is so hard.
Yeah.
And I learned like you really need to like use your legs. You need to like, because I would like try to like pull myself everywhere. And I really just use my legs as like stability. And I was like, no, that's not it. And I do a lot of bouldering. But I haven't done that in years. I still have my rock climbing shoes. I have a friend at the gym that keeps asking me to go, and I'm like, one of these days, because I really want to.
I mean, you have to be like Spider-Man. You have to be like on the wall instead of like away from the wall.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to like open up your hips and like, be able to get your pelvis pretty close to the wall and your chest. So you need a lot of like, literally Spider-Man.
So what kind of took you down like the mobility route? Because that's like an area that you really dive deep into. Like I see you doing a lot of mobility work.
I guess it really did stem from like some injuries, namely my shoulder, after CrossFit. Just learning about it and learning how to, I guess, understanding what it was, how to heal it, how to make it just even stronger, just increase the capacity of like your joints and everything to prevent like further injury, which comes down to like obviously longevity and also strength. And so the fact that I was like able to like learn about it, heal myself, and just learn about it was just like this big like self-discovery process. And I was just, it really got me in my body, where I was like, instead of like being in my head, being anxious about the future or like, I don't know, down, depressed about the past or something, like this got me in my body. So, I mean, I was doing like different things. I was just it was like movement exploration. I got into like yoga and CrossFit.
Nice.
And I'm not sure if either one like helps the other one really.
Yeah, probably not. I don't think CrossFit helps anything.
Yeah, I think that like, and people go into like yoga for like kind of like rehab or to undo like some CrossFit things, which, well, That's a different story. But yeah, I mean, I think that was huge for me. And, self-optimization through like diet. I remember just consuming different podcasts. Like when I was like in my office job, one of them in DC, I was like listening to podcasts and I was like learning all about this. So I definitely had like one foot in the whole like Latin America and human rights area, and then another foot in this like health wellness. And it was just gradually kind of shifting my weight, into like the other like health and wellness and fitness, like just area.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's, I mean, like injury and pain is a huge teacher. So
absolutely.
And it taught me a lot. So yeah, I mean, I went down several different holes. That's why I moved to Austin, because I knew it was like, that's the place, where I would need to be surrounded by people who are, doing those things.
On a similar journey.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
And that's very much like the crowd here. Speaking about like how, injury and pain are like great teachers. I heard something the other day that, I forget where I heard it. I'm sure it was on Instagram. But this guy talking, he's like, yeah, when you're healthy, you have a bunch of problems. But when you're unhealthy, you have one problem. It's your health. So yeah, it's one of those things like staying on top of that and like kind of, especially, I'm 38 now, like as we're starting to age, it's like, okay, like I really need to focus on getting as much juice out of this body as I can for as long as I can.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you said, I think Austin, not only with like the health, not only like the fitness scene, like all the gyms and all the competitions and all the run clubs and all the other crap you see here. But like the wellness side of it, like you see Ways to Well is here. You have, Huberman comes out here quite often. So you see like this big, and like Rogan obviously like big on like cold plunging and peptides and like all this like optimization type stuff. And I don't want to say biohacking, but it's like almost going around like the medical field, like avoiding doctors, avoiding prescriptions, but like doing all these other alternative health. Sorry, that's the term I'm looking for. Like alternative health methods. I feel like Austin's like really on the forefront of that when it comes to, I mean, especially compared to New Mexico. I mean, I still can't think of anywhere in New Mexico that I know the gym that I was at, Performance Ranch, like last time I was out there over the summer, they were building like cold plunges and a sauna. But like, I don't know too many places that have like set like cold. You might go to like a gym that has like a sauna, but it's not like meant for like wellness. Like people will go in there fully clothed for like 5 minutes just to warm up before their workout. Yeah, like people aren't doing it for like the actual like physiological benefits of it. So like I said, Albuquerque is probably 10 to 15 years behind on like that kind of stuff. But it feels like in Austin, like there's just so much going on here that it's like really the place to be if you're trying to focus on like your health and wellness. Yeah, for sure. I remember when Paleo FX had their big conference. It's a different conference now, but that was like the biggest like cutting edge like health conference. And I got so excited when I first went because every new product, every new like podcaster and like health practitioner, holistic practitioner was there. Yeah, I mean, like I was like in it. I mean, like I'm like not as in it right now because I've kind of like figured out what works for me, and I'm like, I'll be 46 soon, and so like I'm like definitely a little bit more dialed in. I know what works. I know what doesn't work. Like after kind of trying different things. But yeah, it's an interesting place. It's I would consider going to California instead of Austin, but I was just called here. But it's a lot of I mean, Austin is so young, so people are just really, especially these like community events, the run clubs. It's great. I mean, KORREKT has built an amazing community. Yeah. I mean, people should go there for the workouts, but they stay for the community. But yeah, for sure. I recently had that conversation with guys because my birthday was last week, and there's like people that like are definitely friends, but like I don't really talk to them outside the gym. There's gym members. And like two of them like stopped me on my way out. They're like, "Oh, hey man, like happy birthday. Like how was it? Blah, blah, blah." I was like, man, this is such a cool community because like people do pay attention and people do care. And I even told them like even to the other end of that, like a couple of years ago when my dog passed away, like people at the gym like reaching out to me and seeing how I'm doing, and like Alex Earl like giving me time off, and like everyone's like, "No, don't worry, we got your classes covered." Like, so on both ends of that spectrum, like there are people there to help you when you're going through a hard time. There are people there to celebrate the good times and everything in between. And like talking to the two guys at the gym, it was Elliot and then oh gosh, why can't I remember the other guy's name? But we were talking, they're like, yeah, we're never leaving. Like this community is just so great. And it's like, yeah, that is correct. Like that is what we do. And like I said, we have run clubs, we have high rocks, we have everything in between. And now Anthony's doing his sprint classes, and like we have our women's groups, like I said, everything. We encompass everything, and like all walks of life like come through those doors. And it's just such like a cool melting pot. And it's such I feel like you don't get that. And I know for sure the community you don't get at other gyms, but like the actual like melting pot aspect of it. Like you go to Equinox. Oh yeah. You're not going to see like a white guy with dreadlocks, walking around barefoot and like dancing around. You know what I mean? But like at Korrekt, you'll get that. Or like a guy like Jake Lane, who's like a big bodybuilder dude, he's like in there getting it at like 5 a.m. It's like, damn man, like we have everybody here. Yeah, definitely. Just bringing it back to like how I got into like health and fitness, like living in DC, going to the CrossFit gym, which, also had a big community. Like it was so nice to just like not be so caught up in like the like politics and all this other stuff, and just go to a gym and just like be talking to people who like, otherwise you might look like they, might be like have a complete different like ideology or something like in your normal job. But here you're just like, you're just, suffering together. And, you're talking to other people who you might not talk to. And it's just like, everything else, politics, religion, goes out the door. Yeah. So that was also, and that exists at KORREKT. Yeah. And that's why I love as well, like, just connecting with people through things that are just as meaningful to them as they are, to me. So, yeah, it's huge. Yeah. And like you said, the whole like kind of leaving everything behind and like suffering together. You might be suffering alongside someone in class that is like a multimillionaire, or you might be suffering next to someone who's like works on a farm, and you're in the same class, you're doing the same workouts, you're sweating, you're dying together. And again, it is kind of one of those things. You're like, oh, like I might not talk to this person outside the gym just because we'd be in different circles. Yes, but we're in the same like ecosystem here in the gym, and it does create such cool opportunities to like go do things, like go see different events, like comedians or musicians or whatever, go to a farmer's market to support someone that has like their chicken eggs out there or something, you know what I mean? Like there's all kinds of opportunities to like help support people at the gym. And I think the gym does a really good job of that. Yeah. And also just people are really interested in just learning. That's the way it's always been. People are just there to like also just like learn about, I don't know, going to a workshop. I went to the landmine workshop last Saturday, and people are just interested in learning. They're not gonna be coaches or anything, but it's like this is a skill, and like I'll see my friends. So all those events are awesome. People just really open to learning. Yeah, everyone's on like that like self discovery. Like, what can I do with this body? Yeah, and I. Yeah. For me, that kind of started around maybe like 30 years old. For me, I just turned 38. But like when I got into fighting, it was one of those things like I never thought I'd get into fighting. And I started training fighters, which led into me training Muay Thai, which led to me like actually competing. And that's something I never thought I would do. But it got to that point of like, I mean, I'm 30 and I'm still like really healthy. Like, why not? Like, what can I do with this body? And that has led to like other things of like, all right, like, that honestly helped lead to me moving out to Austin. Because again, continuing to train fighters and then getting connections at Onnit and then coming out. And again, I kind of felt called for the longest time. I thought I was going to end up in San Diego. Like that was like my goal was like, all right, establish myself here in Albuquerque and then take that to San Diego, establish myself out there. That's interesting. I almost moved there too. Yeah, San Diego's great. And honestly, the first time I came to Austin, to me, it felt, it had a very San Diego vibe. Like people are out doing fitness things. There's great food. There's music. Way more music here than in San Diego. Not that there's not music in San Diego, but at that time I had never been to Austin. And I had pretty good experience in San Diego. And so I had a very San Diego vibe when I first came out here. Very relaxed, like laid back. People are all kind of just doing their own thing, but like in a good way. But you know, the more I came out, because my little sister moved to New Braunfels, which is about an hour south, in 2016. And I remember when she first moved out to Texas, my only experience in Texas was El Paso, Lubbock, and Amarillo. Have you ever been to any of those three cities?
Driven through them.
Yeah, not much. Yeah, exactly. That's all you do. Those are cities you just drive through. No offense to anyone from there, but it's not pretty, man. And so like when my sister was moving out here, I was like, Texas is disgusting. Like, why are you moving to Texas? And then like watching Friday Night Lights, you see like Odessa and Midland, which also looks just like disgusting like that. Yeah, that because that's the like terrain of New Mexico, especially like eastern New Mexico, like the plains, like just flat desert plains. And so when she was moving out here, I was like, I was like, Georgie, like my little sister Georgie. I'm like, Texas is so gross. Like, why are you moving out there? And then I came to visit her. And have you ever spent any time in New Braunfels?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's very much in the hill country. There's like 2 or 3 rivers that run through it. There's 2 lakes right by it.
That's right. There's a lot of like fly fishing.
Yeah. You have Canyon Lake. You have I forget the other lake, but anyway. So I get out there and I'm like, holy crap! Like it is so beautiful out here. And then like coming up to Austin, I'm like, I didn't know Austin was like this. Like Austin is so cool. And then the very last time I came to visit was Thanksgiving of 2020, so COVID, and New Mexico was very, very restricted, like just super shut down. And so my little sister takes me up to Zilker, first time I ever go to Zilker. And there's just, I mean, probably 1,000 people out. You know, there's groups playing soccer, there's dogs running around, frisbees, like all sorts of shit. And it really felt like visiting a different country because this was November of 2020. So we'd already been a couple months into flatten the curve. And New Mexico is still like, if you're checking your mail, you have to wear a mask. If you're walking your dog, you have to wear a mask. Like anytime you're outside, wear a mask. And then coming out to Texas, I was like, holy crap, like people are living their lives out here.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I was single, no kids, no obligations. I was like, why don't I live out here? I have connections at Onnit. My little sister lives out here. And then what it came down to was my older sister wanted to get her kid back into school. She's like, he needs more than I can give him. And she's like, I want to move to Texas. And I was like, all right, like I guess we're moving to Texas. So like we loaded up her 2 kids, my mom and my dog, and we just all like loaded up a U-Haul and came out here, man.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's
and
cool.
that was
That's
it.
cool.
Like I said, like you were saying, like I felt called. I was like, Austin's the spot for me.
Yeah. I remember 2020 because it was a lot more lax, and that's when I think a lot of the California people also started to come.
Yeah.
And even just people from also like New York.
I know a lot of people from Chicago too. Met some people from like Minnesota, like these like northern, very like restricted, like shut down cities. Yeah.
It's right in the middle. I mean, I still kind of miss the East Coast a little bit.
I miss having seasons.
I miss the seasons, and now like is honestly when it gets tough for me because I feel like it should be like my body is still in like it should be fall. It should not be 90 degrees. So like I'm actually looking forward to like when the time changes.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah, no, I like this morning, like 5 a.m. I go walk my dog and I'm wearing like shorts, no shirt, flip flops. And I'm like, it's a little more brisk in the mornings. I was like, okay, nice. Like maybe tomorrow when I walk my dog, I'll put a shirt on. Because in the mornings, like he's such a baby, like I'll just let him out to pee and then he'll go right back inside because he wants to eat. And then I'll take him for longer walks later in the day. But yeah, it's like in New Mexico, and they like you're saying, it's kind of hard for me now too because this is like the most beautiful time in New Mexico. They have their balloon fiesta, which just ended this past weekend, and it's like hundreds, if maybe not thousands, of hot air balloons from all over the world that come for this week in Albuquerque. And every day they're doing like different events. Like they're doing like you can get there at 5 a.m. when it's still dark out, and that people are just lighting up their hot air balloons, and it looks like they call it a glodio. And then when they all have the mass ascension, you have just hundreds of hot air, like they fill up the sky. It's so cool.
It's cool.
And the weather's perfect. It's like probably mid-high 50s in the morning. And then like by afternoon, you're like looking at like 78 to 82, somewhere in there. And you're like, oh dude, it's so beautiful. And like we go get like breakfast burritos because New Mexican New Mexican food, in my opinion, is the best Mexican food. I lived in California. I've now lived in Texas. Even lived in Arizona for a little bit. New Mexico Mexican food is the best.
Wow.
Yeah, it's so good.
Something.
Yeah, that's one thing that like I miss the seasons, I miss the food, and I miss the mountains. And my friends, of course. But living in the mountain range, because Albuquerque's at the base of the Sandia Mountains. And it's like the front is like sheer. Like you can tell like the rock just like broke up like that. Yeah. But the backside of it's just a huge slope. And that's where like the ski resort is. Okay. And we get nasty winds off the backside. I grew up on the backside of the mountain.
Okay.
Yeah, we had baseball games canceled because of wind, like 70-mile-an-hour winds.
Like sandstorms?
Oh yeah. Because once you get past the backside of the mountain, it's Lubbock. It's like that terrain. Like where I grew up, literally the town I lived in was called Edgewood because it's the edge of the woods. But Moriarty, when I went to high school, it's just dirt, plains, nothing. And it's just like a dead stop. It's like woods, mountain, plains. Wow. And I was like smack dab in the middle. But yeah, the dirt and dude, I mean, we'd have these windy baseball games where you're like sneezing up dirt for like a week. Yeah, it's so gross. Man. Have you ever been to New Mexico?
Yeah, I think when we were talking about going to Arizona, it was when my parents, we rented an RV. This was like probably 1985, 86 or something. And I was like 4 or 5. Yeah. Yeah. We went to like Arizona and all that. And like, yeah. Mesa Verde.
Okay. Yeah. That's Arizona.
Yeah. Arizona. But yeah.
Western New Mexico, when you start to get towards Arizona, like there are some very pretty parts, like some mesas that like have like look like painted desert. Like you can see like the red clay and the side of the mesa and stuff like that. Then it gets pretty gross for a while when you drive through like Holbrook, Arizona. But then you get to Flagstaff. Flagstaff's beautiful, and then you can cut south at Flagstaff, and that'll take you through Sedona, or you can take a different route to Phoenix. But a lot of people go like Flagstaff, Sedona, Phoenix. I'm actually going out to Phoenix next weekend. I really, if I wasn't living in Austin, Phoenix is a place that's on my map. Like I really do like Phoenix. It's hot. It's oppressively hot. Like you look at August. We went out there. My mom's birthday's in August. We went out there one year, and it was like 118 degrees. Like it set a record for that day, and we're like, this is disgusting. But there's so much to do. Like I really do like Phoenix. Yeah. I spent like a little bit of time there. It is very pretty, like the sunsets and everything. Oh yeah. And the heat is really dry. Oh yeah. Really dry there. It's like opening your oven door.
Yeah.
That's what I compare it to. Right. Yeah, you just get blasted in the face with hot, dry air. Yeah. Yeah. So you said you spent some good time in South America?
Yeah. So I was born in Bogotá, Colombia. Was adopted. But then I went back when I was 26, and I ended up living in Colombia for 4 years.
In Bogotá?
In Bogotá, in Medellín, Cartagena, and I also got to travel just in other areas. So yeah, that was a big time for me. Colombia is beautiful, as you know. And yeah, I just needed to go back. I didn't really have a huge plan when I went back. I mean, I studied some Spanish there, and eventually taught English. Oh, wow. Yeah, I was teaching English in different capacities with like a private agency, and then also with a private all-boys school, which was like very well-known all-boys private school in Bogotá. Yeah, I mean, I was traveling around. I mean, talking about like self-discovery, that was like, that was like a big 4 years.
Were you single at this time?
Yes. I went down there with the girlfriend, but then kind of broke that off pretty quickly after that. And then I met my ex-wife there. Then we ended up getting married in the States. So we were married for about like 7 or 8 years. Oh, nice. And then,
like 7 or 8 years longer than my marriage.
Yeah. But yeah, I haven't been back in a little while. Yeah, it's a great place. I met a lot of other adopted people who were adopted around the same time I was, like late 70s, early 80s. Okay. And they grew up in like Sweden, Switzerland, Norway, France. I guess because like back then there was like a big like push to for like international adoptions.
I was gonna say, like, is that like the Pablo Escobar era, like where like people are like, I don't want to raise my kid, like I can't have a kid in Colombia right now? Like, what was there? Was that like a thing? Like, why were there so many adoptions at that time?
Well, they called it. This is a bad name. I think they call it the baby scoop era, which is like 70s, kind of ended in the early 80s. But they really, it was like almost like, baby trade.
Baby
like
trade.
The drug trade. But like, yeah, I mean, obviously because of like the whole situation in the 60s, 70s.
Yeah.
Like just drugs and just like civil war and everything. But there were still there was just a push. And I know that there were some private adoption agencies that, did make some money off of it. So I came from one of those agencies in Bogotá. And I mean, I was adopted at a very, very early age. I was born on November 17th. And then I think like it was like within 10 days.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was adopted. And
was that something that was like set up before you were born?
Yes. I think that the adoption agency, like they knew about, they know when a mother is expecting to, give their baby up for adoption, and they're contacting all these families. And so they contacted my family and told them, we have like a boy on the way. Are you interested? And they had like put their name into like the list and everything, but all of a sudden they got this call, and like they had to like rush everything, and they leave in like a couple days. Those types of things, it doesn't happen like that.
Yeah, quickly.
Even like they're trying to limit the international adoptions. They're really trying to keep these babies up for adoption in the same country, and try to find like extended family or other people in the same culture.
Yeah.
Like the interracial, all those things, adoptions. I mean, there's a big like just kind of stereotype about people being adopted, being like, it's such a great thing, they took your kid out of poverty, and there's all these things, but there are other issues for the birth mother and the baby that kind of go unseen.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen like that anymore. It happened super quick for me. So.
Yeah, that's wild. Especially like you said, international. Like, were you adopted by an American family?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, my parents, my dad's like, I don't know, like 6 feet tall, white guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like,
not us.
Yeah. Yep.
A bunch of 5 foot nothing Hispanics.
Yep.
Yeah. My dad, I think he was like 5'7" or 5'8" from Bogotá. But yeah, my uncle, who actually just passed away when I was in Italy, he passed away. But he was closer to 6 feet. But he was like the anomaly of the family. And my dad always used to say he was taller. And I have no idea if there's any truth to this, because my dad used to just tell wild stories about growing up in Colombia. But his brother, Ricardo, my uncle that just passed away, he apparently like broke his back at some point when he was younger. And my dad's like, yeah, they put him in this device to like kind of like lengthen him, like to like let his spine heal, and it made him taller. And again, to this day, I have no idea if that's a true story or not. I should ask my one remaining uncle to see if that is true.
It's unfortunately like that could have happened.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you're looking at Colombia in the 50s. Like it very well could have happened. From my dad and my uncle, like I've just heard like such wild stories. Again, they grew up Colombia like 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
And my dad got sent to the States. It was kind of like a Fresh Prince kind of thing. He was causing too much trouble in Colombia, which means he was causing a lot of trouble. Yeah. And so when he was like 16, his mom sent him to live with his aunt and uncle in LA. So he grew up in the States. So it was one of those things. I was like, what were you doing in Colombia? They got you like sent to the States. And I remember asking him, I was like, well, what was the drinking age? And he's like, I don't know, as soon as you could walk into a bar. I was like, that's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, but Colombia is beautiful. Yep. I definitely I'm going to try to make a trip early next year, maybe January. I don't know. Bogotá, because it's like San Francisco climate. Well, I mean, you've spent more time there than I have. But like when I went there, and that's when I've talked to my Colombian family that lives in LA, when they first moved to the States, they wanted to move to San Francisco because of the climate.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's like kind of cloudy, rainy, doesn't snow, but it's cold.
Yeah. It's interesting. It is very much like that. It's and it's also at altitude. I think it's like
9,000 feet.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that until I went in 2016.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit.
It's like
it's in the Andes.
Denver.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But yeah,
Denver's like right around a mile. It's like 5,000.
Yeah.
Maybe it's less than
It's
6,000
like,
feet, I think.
Yeah. So like the sun is pretty strong, but yeah, it rains, and there's just, I mean, it's right in the Andes, so there's just weather, in general. There's a lot of change.
Yeah, I went there in May.
Yeah.
And I think that the high we got for like the 8 days we were there was like 63 degrees. Yeah. And it was like rainy most of the time and just beautiful. I mean, just so green.
Yeah.
My cousin had a ranch like probably like an hour outside the city. I don't know the name of the little town she was in, but I don't even know if the town had a name because it's so wild because there's no like zoning restrictions. Like you would see like this huge modern beautiful house and then right next to it literally like a clay hut.
Yeah.
And there's like where I was driving out to my cousin's ranch, I mean there's like chickens crossing the road and like dirt roads, and I'm like, this is dope. Like it's so beautiful. And then we went like horseback riding through this like random little path, and luckily we had some people that spoke Spanish with us, including my cousin and her neighbor. Because we came across these guys with like machetes and pit bulls. And I was like, I don't speak enough Spanish to get myself out of this situation if they ask me why I'm here. So I didn't even make eye contact with them. I'm like, I'm just going to look down at my horse and let my cousins handle everything. But yeah, everything was fine. They were cool people.
Yeah. If you go, I don't know, have you been to Medellín?
No, I've only been to Bogotá.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
There.
I want to see Medellín and Cartagena.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll probably end up going to Barranquilla at some point because
okay.
My brother-in-law is from Santa Marta.
Nice.
Yeah. So I want to go check that area out.
It's awesome. It's a great place.
Have you been to Barranquilla?
I have not, but I've been to Santa Marta, and there's like near like the north, I guess northwest, and Parque Tayrona. That's beautiful. It's just very like you think of like costeños, and like the they just speak so differently too. I do remember because when I first went to Colombia, I went to Cartagena. I didn't go to Bogotá because I was studying for about a month in Cartagena, and it was so hard for me to understand the dialect. It was so hard. The accent was like so hard. And then I remember meeting somebody from Bogotá in Cartagena, and I was like, I can actually understand you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so vibrant. It's like so welcoming. They're so nice. It's I mean, a lot of like Caribbean, like Latin American countries are like that as well.
Very hospitable. Like, and my family is very much like that. Anytime I've ever like introduced anybody to my family, they're always like, "Oh my God, they're so nice." I'm like, "Yeah, that's like Colombian culture." Like, yeah, like grab a plate of food, help yourself. Like, you want coffee? Like everywhere we went was like cafe, chocolate, like hot cocoa or coffee.
Right.
I hear Cartagena is like, if you want like a true taste of Colombian culture, like it's the music, it's the food, like it's the colors, like it's more of like I don't want to say a party city, but essentially like more of like the touristy party city is Cartagena, from what I hear. Yeah,
it is. It's also like the old part, the colonial part of the city is beautiful. It's very well kept now and restored. When I went, they didn't allow big like cruise ships there yet, but now I think there are cruise ships that go there, and so they're like hordes of tourists that go through the old city. I mean, like the Afro-Colombian influence is amazing. That's like cumbia and everything. It's interesting. People think that they're like really nice beaches in Cartagena, which they're actually not.
Yeah, I've heard they're not. That's funny.
Yeah, I mean, there's like a touristy beach, but you have to like kind of go out to an island or up to Santa Marta to get like nicer beaches. But yeah, it's like that's the culture. The culture is like just music and dancing. And yeah, I used to like salsa dance, but I cannot do it really anymore.
Yeah, apparently Cabana Club has cumbia dancing lessons. I've been approached about taking some of those classes. I'm like, oh, that'd be fun because I know cumbia is real big in Colombia.
Talk about like hip mobility. Like definitely, it's a good way to practice.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, my brother-in-law from Santa Marta, he's a pro soccer player. So he's a big dude. He's like 6'2", I don't know, maybe 210, 200, like just solid build on him. But like every meal has like a pound of rice and plantain or banana. And he's just like that, like every meal, breakfast, lunch, dinner, like is going to have a banana and rice.
Yeah.
And then like some sort of like protein portion or whatever the actual meal is.
Yeah.
And it's just like such a part of their culture. And he's dark skin, like costeño, like he's, but yeah, it's funny because it's funny to talk about like the different dialects in high school because New Mexico was obviously very heavily influenced by Mexican culture. And so my high school Spanish teacher was from Mexico, and we'd go over our Spanish homework, and I'd go home and I'd take it to my dad. And I'd be like, hey, like, you know, what's going on here? And he's like, I get what they're saying, but it doesn't really make sense to me. I'm like, damn it. Like, Dad, you're fluent in Spanish and you can't help me with my Spanish homework.
Mexican Spanish is just different, totally different. It's its own thing. I used to work with like Mexicans and it's totally different.
Yeah. Were you able to communicate decently well with them?
Yeah. I mean, this was like in DC, so it was very formal and like, but I remember us talking about like the different words. The one word could really get you in trouble in Colombia, and one word in Colombia that you use, if you use it in Mexico, like totally different.
Yeah.
I mean, during my while I was like studying, getting my master's, I was reading a lot, and it was like, it's just so different, totally different way of communicating.
Yeah.
Yeah. Different words.
It's funny you say that because like, and maybe you have a different opinion, but like when I grew up, like with my dad and my uncles from Colombia and like my aunts and stuff like that, like they'd say pendejo all the time. Like, hey, pendejo, like quit doing that. Like quit messing around. Like it's kind of like dum-dum. It's almost like a term of endearment. Like you talk to your nephew like, hey, stupid, don't do that. But then my brother, his two kids, the mom side of the family is Mexican. And like he said something similar to like his kids like, hey, pendejo, like quit messing around. And the uncle like got like kind of offended. He's like, hey, don't call your kids that. Like don't say that. Cause I guess like it's more like calling someone dipshit in like Mexican Spanish, but in Colombian Spanish, it's like more like kind of like I said, term of endearment of like, hey, it's stupid, quit messing around. Yeah. He's like, don't call your kids pendejo. Like that's not cool. Like I'm like, oh, that's really funny. Like the Mexicans like got really offended by that.
It's like the word marica.
Marica, yeah.
Like use that anywhere else probably.
Yeah. But that's funny you say it because I got a tattoo in Colombia, and my tattoo artist, like anytime like his buddy would walk in the shop, like, hey, marica. Yeah. And it's like, and me growing up around like mostly Mexicans, I'm like, you guys about to fight?
Yeah. It's like, damn. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, if this is too personal a question, feel free to not answer it. But when you went to Colombia, were you like trying to find your parents? Or was that like a goal?
That wasn't really a goal. Like when I first went, really it was just to like go back and just like I felt, you know, like how like just, I needed to go back to my place of birth. You know, it's
you
kind
knew
of like
you were Colombian.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I knew just gradually growing up. It's and just that intuition that I knew I needed to go back. Eventually, especially when I went to Bogotá, it just became a little bit more like, it was an immediate thought just because it was just, I was there where I was born.
Yeah, it was the city I was born in.
Yeah. And then especially after meeting some of my Swedish friends who had reached out to try to find their biological parents, like is when I really started to think about it. And they went through, he was a lawyer, he was an adoption lawyer, but he's also really good at like basically just finding people.
Like a private investigator.
Yeah, basically. And the adoption like agencies, their job was really to really just keep you from locating these people. They did not want to be responsible for, this adopted kid trying to find
any sort of backlash.
Yeah. So we couldn't rely on like the adoption agency. So there was this guy, he was a lawyer, and the few documents that my parents had, I got from them, and then he just needed like the full name of this person. They didn't have their like cedula number, which is their ID number. But I think that just
is that like a social security number?
Yeah, pretty much. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. They did not have that, but they had on these documents her full name. So with that, he was able to find her.
Wow.
And so we did meet. It was interesting because like at the time she was like 14.
Oh wow.
Like 14, 15 or something.
Yeah. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when we met, like she had a new family, totally new family, kids, and nobody knew about me.
Yeah.
I guess only her and her mother, so my biological grandmother, knew, that I was born and was, adopted. So she had to meet like in secret, like with me, and we met maybe like a handful of times. But yeah, she had to like, say she was doing something else.
Yeah, going to the grocery store.
Yeah,
or some
like,
shit. Yeah,
staying late at work. So it was difficult to like maintain that relationship.
for sure.
I mean, fortunately, my Spanish was decent at that time, so we could like talk and everything. I do remember she said that I could like call her house and like to like see like ask for her and like if I wanted to meet. And so I remember calling the house once, and her husband at the time answered the phone.
Yeah.
And I'm like in my like kind of broken Spanish, but like Spanish with like a gringo accent,
Sure,
like
yeah.
asking for, his wife, and like, who are you? Why do you want to talk to my wife?
Yeah.
And I remember he was like very stonewall. He was like, who are you? Like, why do you want to talk with my wife? Very, very serious Colombian guy. And like, after that, like we kind of like lost contact for a while. Cause like I didn't want to like push. I didn't want to push,
Make things
try to
difficult
call
for
her,
her.
text her,
Yeah.
whatever. I didn't know what their family dynamic was like. So yeah, I mean, kind of lost contact. But we did get to talk, and yeah, it was, I remember when we first met, she was like taken aback because I reminded her of my biological father,
yeah.
who she had not like seen since, I guess he found out that like she was pregnant. So
No
he
shit.
bounced like no
Wow.
contact.
Do you know how old he was?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But
Because I mean, honestly, in Colombia at that time, like it probably wouldn't be uncommon if she was like 15 for him to maybe be like 25.
right.
It's
true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like she was just like, wow, like you remind me of like of him. And like so that was it was big for both of us.
Yeah.
I mean, like I was 26 at the time. And
so she was only 40.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm older than 40 now. So it's like, it's crazy to think, And the other thing was that she, with the same father, same guy, had a daughter before me. So I had a biological sister that was
wow.
like almost like a year older than me.
Wow. And have you met her?
I wanted to.
Yeah. Did she stay with the family?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But I guess they didn't have a great relationship, the two of them. I didn't want to like push.
She's so young.
Yeah, I didn't want to push, but I like definitely was like, oh, like I would love to meet her, blah blah blah. But yeah, there was a lot of like family dynamics going on. But,
yeah, when my dad first moved to the States, he got his like high school sweetheart. This is like 1965, 66, somewhere in there. He got his high school sweetheart pregnant, and this time, California in the 60s, like it was a white girl. I think she was like blonde, blue eyes. Their parents were like livid that she got this 16-year-old girl like got knocked up by a guy that didn't speak English. And so they sent her to the East Coast to like live with her aunt and uncle. And my dad lost like total contact with them.
Mm-hmm.
And so for the longest time, actually until after my dad passed away in 2009, we had kind of heard rumors because my dad was also 14 years older than my mom. They met when my dad was like 34 and my mom was 20. And they were married for 26 years before my dad passed. But
wow.
We had heard rumors that like we have a sister that's almost my mom's age.
Yeah.
And then finally we did our ancestry.com.
Yeah.
And we saw that we had like a blood relative, and like we were able to like reach out to her on the East Coast. But yeah, she's like almost my mom's age, which is really funny.
Wow.
But she kind of seemed like she knew she was Colombian. Her parents kind of kept everything like at a distance. And we've been in a little bit of contact, and the little bit of contact is only because of the distance. Like I said, she lives on the East Coast. So like, eventually someday, like it would be really cool to meet her.
Yeah.
We have the same dad, different moms, obviously. Yeah. But yeah, it's just, it's really weird when you see like those kind of scenarios that happen like at a time where like, it's easy to lose contact with people. There's no social media. There's no Facebook. There's no Instagram. Like cell phones weren't a thing.
Yep. Especially when somebody doesn't want to be found too.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's interesting to see kind of like the correlations there, like between your story and like the story of like my sister. It's like, oh man, that's so wild.
So you don't have contact with the mother
I think the mother has passed.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think the mother has since passed, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, the sister, we've shot each other like messages over Facebook. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Just like seeing like, because for me growing up, like seeing anybody that was like had the same DNA and like related in that way, like it is still very foreign to me.
Yeah.
And so like,
yeah, that's crazy.
Just to see somebody that like, shares your bloodline, kind of has the same eyes, has the same jawline, or like, is like, that was like, that's foreign to me.
Yeah.
And so seeing that a little bit in my biological mother, and was crazy. It was just like crazy because like obviously don't look like my parents.
Yeah, usually that's 6'3" white guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Even when I just got to Colombia, just like, wow, these people are Colombian. I'm Colombian. Like it's like I didn't really know a lot of people, anybody really, from Colombia growing up.
Yeah. I mean, I was born in California, like around my Colombian family. But yeah, growing up in New Mexico, like running into, I don't think I knew any other Colombians in New Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so my little brother actually has a similar story to yours. I'm sure I've told you this before, but like when I was very, very young, I was homeless as a child. My little brother's 13 months younger than me. And when he was born, my parents Catholic, they didn't believe in birth control.
Yeah.
So when my mom got pregnant, like my parents were going through a very difficult time. They thought they were going to get divorced. They were obviously financially struggling. So they gave up my little brother for adoption because they thought it'd be the best thing for him, like to give him the best chance. And I didn't know about him until I was 18. And he was 17. My sister found him on MySpace because I think like one of our aunts might have had one too many drinks at like a Christmas party and told my sister about it. And so my sister found him on MySpace. And it's one of those things like, he knew he was Colombian, but other than that, like his parents like didn't want to keep in contact with my parents. Like initially they did, late 80s, early 90s. But they lost contact, and I think the parents tried to keep it separated. And but yeah, he looks just like me. Like what the funny thing is, he acts just like he actually lives in Austin now. He lives in Georgetown.
I think have you posted pictures?
Yes. Yeah. I posted pictures of him. Yeah. We look very similar. Yeah. And again, he acts like he grew up with us. It's one of those like the nature versus nurture thing. Like, even though he was raised with like a little more proper family in a better situation in Long Beach, California, he's just a goofy kid like the rest of us. And
you remember when you first?
Oh yeah. I remember when I first met him. Very weird. And like he initially, I think, kind of had a little bit of resentment because our little sister, who's 8 years younger than me, 7 years younger than him, I think he had a hard time kind of understanding, like, well, why'd you keep her? And but that's why she's so much younger. Like my parents wanted to make sure they were in a better situation. They like relationship wise, financially, everything, like they wanted to make sure they're better before they had another kid. So I think that was like a hard pill for him to swallow at first, but he's such like an easygoing guy that like he understands. Like he's been through some hardships since then. Sure. So like he gets it. But he's very much part of the family now.
That's cool.
Yeah. But I it was one of those things where he's like, holy shit, like this is my DNA.
Yeah. Like
look,
that just connection. It's crazy.
Yeah. And he got married last September, maybe 2 Septembers ago. And it was interesting to have like his adopted parents there and like us there, and everything was fine. Everything went fine. But it was the first time I'd ever met his adopted parents.
Yeah. So he lives in
Georgetown. Yeah.
Georgetown.
Yeah. It's like an hour north.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He actually lived in Austin before I did. He moved out here before I did.
I think I remember you saying the story.
Yeah. He came and lived with us for a little while in New Mexico, then went back to California, spent a little bit of time in Arizona, and then back out here. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Very, very interesting. Like,
yeah.
Because again, it was the first time like he's like, oh shit, like you look like me.
Yeah. She's just like different, different types of families.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But man, it was interesting for me, even though I wasn't born in Colombia. When I went to Bogotá, there was like a very odd sense of like familiarity. I'm like, this feels like I've been here before.
Yeah.
Did you feel like that when you went?
It felt.
Or did it feel like a connection?
Yeah. And it's funny you're talking about your height, and like I kind of felt like I was like around the same kind of height.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, even though they weren't like related to me, like, I guess directly, but I still felt like kind of like, yeah, you know, this like, because people would obviously like, I would be Colombian, basically Colombian still until like they started talking to me and like I would start like speaking, you know. And so to have that feeling of like, yeah, I just fit in, like, because they're looking at me like, you know, I'm just like another Colombian. That feeling made me feel like, you know,
a little more comfortable.
Yeah, I'd be like on the bus. And then I mean, I had like countless like conversations with like taxi drivers, you know, just explaining my stories. Like, no, I was born here, but I grew up in there, blah, 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 blah. Like I was like, I probably had that like, I don't know how many times that conversation. So yeah, it's interesting.
You know what? So, you know, to kind of speak to that, because same thing. Like when I went to Colombia, not that I'm like a particularly big guy, but I only saw like one dude, like muscle wise, like I only saw one dude bigger than me. Like everyone's like pretty like fair build down there. And same thing, like people just start speaking Spanish to me, like, you know, because in you're darker skin tone than I am. You're probably like a little more like complexion like my dad. But, like my uncles and stuff are like a little more fair skin like I am. And Bogotá being so high up in the mountains, I think they have a little more fair skinned people compared to like down by the coast.
Yeah.
And so, people are just speaking Spanish to me and I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I had a similar experience in Italy, like, cause I was just in Italy a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And there were 2 or 3 times where I would be like standing in line at like, you know, a coffee shop and like a little old lady will like turn around and just start rattling off like Italian to me. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't speak any Italian. So and I was talking to on the flight back, cause our connecting flight was in London. And so London to Austin there, I was sitting next to a dude from London and, he's like, man, were the Italian people like really rude to you? I was like, no, not at all. They're actually really nice. He's like, yeah, it's probably because you look like them. I was like, yeah, maybe, I guess. I don't know. Funny. Yeah, because he's like, every time I go to Italy, like people, because he was like white, blonde, blue eyed.
Yeah. Colombians and Italians and like people from Spain. Yeah.
Have you ever done like an Ancestry.com or anything?
Yeah, I did the 23andMe. And I can't say being like too like intrigued by all what I found.
Oh, really?
Although I do like, I mean, I have like, I guess Spanish blood, obviously because of, you know, just colonialism, but like I have some like indigenous Colombian and it was all just basically Colombian.
Oh, nice.
And I I think every once in a while is like you have a new like relative or something and it'll be like, and I recently actually, I found something, this was probably within the past like year or two, probably 2 years, that somebody popped up in Sweden and I reached out to them and they were also adopted.
Wow.
But the level of like
of relation.
Yeah. This was like, I forget, like it was like a distant cousin, something like that. But it was just interesting, like that, because I know that in Sweden, I don't know if it's other Scandinavian countries, but they would support like economically families to adopt. Like they would like fund their trip to go, you know, adopt and pick up a baby from somewhere.
Yeah, pick up a baby. Yeah. I can't imagine. I'm going to Colombia to pick up a baby.
Yeah.
That's interesting because my mom, she's as white as the winter snow. So I do have like some other things mixed in there. But I was like 38% Spanish and then like 20% like Germanic Eastern European. And then I think I was like 12% indigenous Colombian. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, mostly Spanish for sure.
Yeah.
So I kind of like say like Italian, Spanish, most South American countries all kind of look the same, like pretty fair skin, but like you can tell there's like a little bit of flavor in there.
Yeah. Spice.
Yeah, a little bit of spice in there. Yeah. I always tell like Anthony, because I think he's getting ready to go to Argentina soon. I'm like, dude, the food is very different than Mexican food. Yeah. And I think we're planning on going to Costa Rica soon too. And it's the same thing. It's like a lot of beans, plantains, like big protein portion, rice, but like you're not going to get like a super spicy, you know, enchilada or something. You know what I mean?
People think that Colombian food is spicy.
No.
Which it is not.
Not even a little bit.
No, not really. But yeah, in Argentina, there's a lot of meat.
Yeah. A lot of bowls in Argentina.
Yeah.
Nice, man. Well, so what do you got coming up? Like, you doing any events? Any what's the word I'm like workshops or anything?
I've done a couple workshops. Nothing coming up, although maybe in the new year, we'll do another like 2 hour like hip workshop, 2 hour like shoulder workshop. Those have been pretty good.
Nice.
It's like enough to do a deep dive. Yeah, I'm developing, like I have a YouTube channel with like very basic mobility, like 2 playlists that I, give to my clients. So working on like building that out. Yeah, continue learning.
Yeah. Is there, are there any certs coming through, about like FRC? I mean, I know you've already done FRC, but.
I've done a few, the FRC, yep. And coming through, I'm not really sure, but
is barbell rehab coming through, or did they just come through?
I think they just came through.
Okay.
But I've been doing a lot of the PRI, Posture Restoration Institute stuff. I've taken 2 of the 3 primary courses.
Nice.
Very different than FRC, but really enjoying that. Yeah, we'll see.
Nice, man.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah. That'd be cool. I have to keep an eye out for the hip mobility because there's a very good chance I'll be fighting soon. And I need to open my hips back up for throwing some kicks so that I don't give myself a hernia. Because last summer, I got right back into like Muay Thai training, and like an idiot, like I started going hard like I used to, like I had been training regularly, and I started to develop a little bit of a hernia. I thought it was my hip flexor, and then I went and saw Jen, our awesome PT over at KORREKT, and she's like, "No, you're starting to wear out your like abdominal wall." Like she's like, "It's like think of like I was stretching out a piece of bubble gum, like you're starting to get like little holes in it."
I've had 2 hernias.
Oh God, yeah. So I'm trying to actively avoid that. So yeah, I definitely need to open up my hips. So I'll keep an eye out for that for sure.
I have a client that is a avid golfer, so I also should reach out to you about some.
Yeah, let me know. I'm always down to help, man. I'm an open book. I hate, not that I come across it too often, but I don't see the point in like gatekeeping. Like what I know, if it can help you with anything, like I'm always telling coaches or clients or whatever, I'm like, let me know. I even tell like when I do like a fitness assessment, even if they don't end up signing up with me to do personal training, I'm like, if you ever need help and you see me walk around the gym, like feel free to grab me. Like I'll still help you.
Yeah.
Because why not?
Sure.
Yeah. Like
we're here to help people.
Yeah, I'm here to help people, and we're not on this earth for a long time in the grand scheme of things. So it's like, why not? I've learned something. Why not? Like, let me show you this.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you ever need help with any sort of like golf movements, I'll be down to help for sure.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, rotational athletes are kind of my specialty.
Yeah.
Although you can argue every sport's rotational, even running has elements of rotation in it. So yeah. Cool, man. Well, why don't you tell people what your YouTube channel is, tell them your social media, and tell them where to reach you.
Yeah, at Tim Trainer ATX is Instagram and YouTube.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, just seamless.
Okay, cool. And you're not on X or anything, Twitter?
No.
Yeah, me.
But yeah, and then monthly mobility at KORREKT is free. It's on Sunday service, so bring a friend. The first Sunday of every month is just an hour-long mobility class.
Very nice. Cool, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
Like I said, it was a little overdue, but we're glad we could finally make it happen.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Yeah, for sure. We'll have to run it back after we get some more education on our belts and run some more certifications.
Let's do it.
All right, everyone. Thanks again for tuning in to the Lion Spit podcast. I'm your host, Nick Gomez. My guest today is Tim Kurz, coach over at KORREKT Fitness. Shout out to KORREKTLife.com. That is correct with a K. Aubrey Marcus's new supplement. He has electrolytes with ketones in them, as well as a energy and focus supplement. Currently on that right now, and I have the electrolytes in my water bottle. And then shout out to Set. Getset.co is the website there. This is a nicotine alternative pouch. So if you're looking to kick that nicotine crash or just looking for something different, give them a shout out. Delicious flavors, great for focus as well. Big fan. Also have one of those in my lip right now. So I believe in the products that I am pushing here. And don't forget to tune in next time. Again, this is the Lion Spit Podcast.